My name is Michael Amankwa. I own three companies, namely Cornet, Vivanti Microfinance, and Noxy. Cornet is an electronic transactions processing company. Vivanti is into financial services, and Noxy is a fintech company. Well, I started off with Cornet, and which started in 2005. So obviously, this is about 11th year. And so if you look at it, within 11 years, we didn't really add any new company to what we had. But after 10 years, we realized that, times were changing, the markets were changing, we saw new opportunities, and we realized that we also had to diversify. So it's after the first 10 years that we decided to start looking at different spaces, for which we decided to, venture into financial services, as well as, the fintech company. Corner started off as an electronic transactions processing company, providing solutions and services to financial institutions, which were banks. And then halfway down the line, I started working with the telcos, providing support and aggregator services to the mobile money platforms. So in the process of doing that, we realized there were opportunities that were not taken advantage of which we were well positioned to be able to do that. And we initially wanted to partner with other institutions or companies to offer those services to take advantages, but we didn't find any that was right to fit with the visions that we had. So we decided to set up our own, and then when you set it up and you own it yourself, you're able to control it better. Because now with all the three companies we have, they all have the synergies between them, so it's more complementary from that sense. It's a little bit difficult. The first one, which is a technology company, it's autopilot. It's been there, so the systems, the processes, the controls, things are well defined. The other two are more of a startup. Vivanti Microfinance is only 18 months old, so it's still in the process. But the good thing about it is that it's supposed to be a digital financial services company, more like a digital bank. All you need is just have a mobile phone and you can use it. You don't have to come to any branch to do any branch work or whatever it is. So it doesn't require a lot of people and manual processes, so that helps. And the fintech company is more service driven, meaning that people be able to go out there and interact with merchants or agents and offer them, whatever services that Noxy offers. I think it's a combination. When I started Cornet, I had some good money to start with, and I wasted it. We bought expensive painting, flowers here and there, made office all pretty, and we wasted the money. And after that, we started struggling, and we didn't want to go back to go find investor money or go borrow money. So we decided to eat what we grow, and that's where we started off from. When you have excess money or you have money from elsewhere, look, you waste it to a large extent. But if you're able to make sure that, look, you are living off what your efforts are, then obviously you know that, look, you're doing something right. So um, it's not deliberate per se, but it just made sense at the time. We also know that we cannot continue bootstrapping forever because we have plans of becoming Pan-African, and also be outside of Africa as well. We're already now in India, so we're looking at the Asian market and stuff like that. So we obviously know that, look, we're going to expand, big time, and we need obviously investors to be able to do that. So the bootstrapping only helps us get things in order, gets us lean, gets us strong. And once you have that, it's easy for somebody to come in and then also support you with whatever investments they bring in. I think to a large extent, it has to do with the personality of the leader. You can't, you have to be very disciplined. You have to have the resolve to be able to live within your means. You can't be tempted to spend money on things that are not going to yield any returns. At the same time, you got to find a balance to make sure that your people are okay. So that's about it, really. I remember when I first started, a friend of mine told me it's going to take me 10 years before I'm going to figure it out. And I told him it's going to be 3 years because I told him I'm going to be filthy rich after 3 years. What I know now is that, look, Africa is really difficult. It's crazy. It's very chaotic because our systems are not, the systems suck. You don't have access to good information. So your assumptions are a lot of times off. So you just have to, hit the ground running and you pick it up or learn as it comes. Now, what I've also realized is that you have to get into spaces whereby you're the main, player. So you have to move from the red ocean to the blue ocean, whereby, and that requires a lot of innovation. You have to innovate in a way that, look, you're the market leader. So by the time that others may come in, you've already built an empire, and then you've moved on to something bigger. So I think that's what the past 10 years, 11 years has afforded me. Yeah, I think about 5 years ago, that was when mobile money was coming onto the scene. M-Pesa started taking off, so there was a lot of noise about it. We had MTN money coming in and all of that. And having worked with the banks, providing switching services, ATM cards, and the pins and all of that, I quickly realized that the future was about mobile payments. So at the time, you couldn't take money out from your mobile money wallet at the ATM. You had to go to an agent, a human agent, and then be able to cash out. So we decided to approach, some of the telcos, and then we created what we call today the cardless service, whereby you can go to an ATM, you don't belong to the bank, you don't have an ATM card, but yet you're able to take money out from the ATM. So that was one of our key innovations. When you decide to be an entrepreneur, it's something that you have to really understand what you're getting into because it's not easy. It's extremely difficult. It's painful a lot of times. And it's also very lonely a lot of times, especially when you're the guy who sits at the top and everybody and everything comes to you. I knew what my calling was and what my purpose in life is. And my purpose is to be able to create something to make a difference in the lives of millions of people across Africa. So therefore, whatever my struggles and pains are, I know that it's going to yield something that's going to be significant in terms of making a difference in the lives of people. What is most required is for you to know why you're going through the struggle. A lot of times people keep questioning or they start having doubt. Why am I even going through all of this hassle? Is it really going to be worth it? Why don't I just take care of myself and my family? Once you start thinking that way, you're beginning to lose the plot. Africa is very, very difficult. It's a very complex market. You can understand why some things happen the way they do. Sometimes I think they're spiritual because we laugh about it because it just doesn't make sense. You have consistent power challenges left and right. You have terrible human resource in terms of it's very difficult to get very competent people to really do stuff. So you have all of these challenges that are there. So it takes a personal conviction from whoever the entrepreneur is to be able to say, look, no matter what comes, rain or shine, we're going to keep going. But what I've also learned and realized is that, look, each passing day you're learning, and when I look back at the things we have been through, I can only say, look, I'm tight. You understand? Because there are real lessons and experiences behind me, for which now when I make decisions, they are not based on some theory or academic work or whatever it is, but real life experiences. So I remember a friend telling me that, look, it's all about the old money, because you're going to make your money when you're old. Even though I was hoping to have been filthy rich by now, I know I'm on my way, but I just can't wait. So it's all about the personality as well. What do you really want? Is it you trying to enrich yourself personally, or you're trying to build something for the masses? And if it's for the masses, it's going to take time. And especially when you're doing the right way, you're not doing corrupt things, you're trying to do it a break at a time. So it's all about the leader, and you have to be ready to also sacrifice for the people. Because there are times when you're like, I can take all of this money and take care of myself, get a private jet or get an extra house in London or in Paris or somewhere. You're like, no, you know what? Let's go open a branch somewhere in another country. Let's expand. So it's all about what your motivation is and what keeps you going.